All right. As I was saying, welcome to round 5 of the May Revival Tournament for the Harry Potter TCG Revival Group. We have got Jiri versus Alberto here. I believe both of these players are undefeated going into the final round. Jiri, of course, we did get a peek at him playing last round. He's got the Hermione Granger big ramp deck with creatures and Transfiguration. We're not quite sure what Alberto is doing yet, but it looks like he's got Draco, Malfoy, Slytherin as his starting character. Usually this is an item combo deck, but we'll see, which lesson types he's chosen to go with here. I think that a standard fare for Draco deck is usually charms and potions, but I'd be interested in seeing if there was something more creative under the hood. Not that there's anything wrong with charms and potions. A really, really popular combo with Draco because it's a very strong combo with Draco. Charms and potions probably have the best, pound for pound items. That's maybe Quidditch, which is kind of where I was hinting before. It would be really cool to see a Quidditch deck make it this far with such a good record. But of course, it looks like there's potions as one of the elements, I guess, lesson types in the deck there. One thing that we are noticing from both of these players who are, at these top tables here is that they've got pretty heavy character counts in the decks, beyond just things that are directly helping their strategy. We see Snape, who is a very common character because he's kind of like that 2-for-1 on providing a lesson while also giving you that heal, and also being a character if there's any cards that matter, care about that. Although I get it, Ginny's banned, but still there's some other things that's nice about him, not always be able to be removed with the same cards that can get rid of lessons. Potion and Transfiguration down here, turn 1 for Jiri. And Alberto, I believe, looking to just drop a character turn 1. If you have this many characters in the deck, I'm sure that he's playing Lockhart's Hair Care Potions with all these characters, but it's probably going to be Seamus turn 1. Oh, I'm actually surprised by the Colin Creevey first. You'd think that he's not going to be using Colin Creevey's ability for, at least 2 turns. He's got all this stuff to do. If he plays the Seamus Finnegan, it at least allows him to immediately start doing more than just a character every turn. I get that you feel like you want to make sure you have a way to draw cards to fuel Seamus, but playing Seamus first is better because it's just one more turn of +1 action, right? So just basically, we would have gotten a free action earlier. Oh, we're actually using Colin Creevey. This is very interesting to me. Hopefully that's what we were looking for if we were looking for anything. I feel like we have a lot of action in our hand, and I'm surprised to see us using Colin when our opponent has Hermione Granger and took the time to play the Snape, because Hermione's whole thing is that she could play 2 lessons for 1 action. So just filling our opponent's hand with cards feels like a really, really good way to give our opponent a perfect start. And sure enough, we're going to see Jiri go to 6 lessons here right away. I do think that we had plenty of time to start building, especially if you're playing a character deck like this. Don't get so hung up on the fact that you don't have hair care potions. Jam this Seamus down. Honestly, personally, the same turn I play the Seamus, I'd be ditching Nearly Headless Nick and something else to gain an extra action and dropping the potions, right? Because then next turn, all right, I'm gonna play Colin Creevey that turn, and you could even discard 2 and then use Colin if you wanted to. But you'd at least have the Seamus down, and you would be using Seamus's ability for 2 more actions. Instead, look at how fast our opponent was able to. I mean, we gave that to him. We gave him the ramp to play that picking on Neville this turn. I mean, the fact that he's electing to do that instead of play 2 more lessons, I think just shows us that Jiri is in a pretty good spot. The other funny thing is Jiri actually, like, one of the few weaknesses of the deck is he doesn't have as many of those draw cards for himself, but when his opponents are just giving him all the gas he needs, he doesn't have to spend any time using actions to draw cards or having to worry about making sure that he has enough cards in hand for plenty of action. He's just going to be able to jam 2 more lessons on the table and Scribblefors to get rid of both of those potions. And I think, unfortunately, this one's already looking really in Jiri's favor, and I think that we can really trace it back to that Colin. I don't think we had to do that yet, especially considering Draco. The entire point of the Draco deck, or at least why Draco is an effective starter, is he has that action advantage from items. So, if we had gotten down Seamus and played the potion, and then the next turn we're able to, play our Creevey and then our opponent has some higher value targets they're gonna have to remove maybe before they start attacking our lesson base, and we're able to play out a few more things. So this turn looks like we played potions, Lockhart's hair care potions, which of course gives us an action back for Draco, and a second potions card, but it's going to be another Scribblefors coming down from Jiri, I think, choosing hair care potions on one of the lessons, and then he's going to use, yeah, I was going to say Teacup to Rat to get rid of the item, or Defendo to get rid of Greavy, but yep, it's going to be Teacup to Rat, and actually using an action to draw a card, it looks like, for Jiri here. He is really just feeling so comfortable that he's going to take the nice slow roll. He doesn't even feel like Scribblefors in 2 lessons, frankly, is as much value as he could squeeze out of Scribblefors, and he's in a position where he doesn't have to play it until he's getting the most value out of it. So I don't hate this from him just being careful. Scribblefors anyway. Where do we get a third action? Does Teacup to Rat let you draw a card? Oh, that's my bad. I thought that was an action that he... Ah, yes, it does also have draw a card. That's my bad. My mistake. So yeah, I mean, easy. Yeah, so whatever. We'll Scribblefors the 2 lessons. I think he's in a fine spot even if he was holding it, but yeah. I mean, now you can just play Hedwig down, get your Scribblefors back, and then, you know, got both of the dragons here just waiting. I think that we're maybe going to be a little hesitant to play the Welsh Green because, again, like I said, the deck has a little bit of trouble finding more cards to play. So we want to just get the most mileage out of what we have in our hand. So I don't think we want to go down on lessons until we're able to play the Ridgeback, and the Ridgeback bounces them to the hand, whereas the Welsh Green discards them. So really, we want to get, we don't mind playing this and getting a Ridgeback turn. Yep, and this is actually perfect. So he draws for turn, he gets a second Transfiguration. I'd be surprised if this turn wasn't some combination of playing both of those for one action. Yep, there it is. And then maybe removing these characters. Scribblefors is getting rid of both of these. Again, I like the Colin Creevy just helping Jiri out here, and I don't think that we really needed to be that desperate for action when we have all of these things we can play in our hand. I mean, yeah, Scribblefors is even more effective against the characters, but... Alright, so this is just for next game. I think maybe we want to open up with Seamus as early as possible. I mean, that's just a Seamus rule, right? Get this guy out ASAP. Then we want to start aggressively using his ability to get low on cards in hand, because we have so many ways. Like, that's what is going to make our Peeves good. It's going to make our Colin Creevies better. Right now, our Peeves is a card that we never want to play. And that's only because we've been using actions on Colin Creevy, where, you know, we could have had Peeves kind of help us out and also get rid of anything our opponent been sculpting in their hand. Not that we've seen our opponent do too much of that, but just, I don't know, it's easy to talk from this position of seeing how wrong things have gone to what we could have done better earlier. But even when we had first played the Colin, I was just a little surprised. I think that Seamus first is just going to be more value over time. Looks like literally everybody's streaming the round 5 event. We got this top table here, though. Excited to see. All right, so looks like we did the old Norwegian Ridgeback play. And Norwegian Ridgeback has been on the table this turn. He's dealt his damage. Scribble-forcing 2 things away. I would be surprised to not see Hedwig or Welsh Green follow up here. Taking on Neville. We're just going to go ahead and keep scraping our opponent's cards off the table. at this point, I mean, there's nothing you could do against ramp when it gets here. There used to be a card in the game that was good against ramp when it got like this, called Caught by Snape. But that does not exist in Revival, so there's not really many counter strategies to somebody getting this far ahead of you. It's really hard to buy your way back into the game. So, I mean, that's something to think about when people think about these cards and control cards and why they think they're not fun and they think it's just oppressive and why get rid of this? Nobody thinks this is fun. Nobody enjoys this. Like, you know, there's a reason that control is an important archetype that exists in every game. You know, while it can be used to kind of stuff you early, there's a lot more ways to play around that early on by like not putting yourself in as bad a position for Snape. I mean, it requires playing against it a lot, but it does have utility too. I mean, in things like this, in a position like this, it's really what Alberto needs to buy himself that time to kind of claw back in. It gives him at least, you know, especially with Seamus in the deck, you can play Caught by Snape and build a lesson. And so you can at least guarantee yourself 1 or 2 turn window where you can put down some lessons he can't remove yet. And sometimes that's the only window decks like these need to start getting built up, start, you know, accruing that advantage. But I think that without being able to force some lessons and a hair care potion to stick, we're certainly never going to sniff a VTJ, which means we have to go for the character draw kill. So we're looking at Peeves and Grip Hook as our win condition here, I think. Our opponent has the Snape out and hasn't healed yet, though, and is not churning through his deck much at all. I don't know that it's even in our best interest to keep Creevying. Obviously, you play this one out. You're Alberto. You try to get as much information as you can about cards in your opponent's deck. And I think, you know, you just spend a little bit of time thinking about what he's doing against you and what's strong about it, and seeing if you can try to mitigate that next game by maybe doing things like giving yourself that Seamus as early as possible to get an extra action, so that hopefully you can do more things than he can remove. You know, that action advantage from the items we're watching be very effective here, and letting him play down multiple cards. I mean, this, you know, the fact that he was able to play Potion Book Potion this turn makes this, for I was about to call it Forbidden Ink, this invisible ink, it doesn't get rid of every lesson in play, right? We get rid of 2 of them, and yeah, sure, he's gonna hit us with Defendo or Teacup to Rat, but look at that, at the end of his turn, after using 2 removals, we'll still actually have a lesson in play. You know, we're able to kind of power through all of his spells. So I think that those are the right idea. You know, those turns are the right idea. We need to do more of those. Ideally get a couple more lessons into play early off the back of the extra actions that we get from our Seamus Finnegan. On Creevy, I mean, yeah, at this point, your opponent is basically already doing whatever they want to. You're just trying to, like I said, go for that character kill. The nice thing about character cards, and something that Alberto's going to be leading hard on if he comes back in this game at all, is going to be that the characters don't require any lessons to play, right? Just kind of actions. So you'll be able to get a Grip Hook off, and then you'll be able to get a Peeves. And there's nothing they can do to stop the Peeves or the Grip Hook, as long as you play them and use them in the same turn. But if you think about Peeves is 7 damage, Grip Hook's going to be, right now, we're looking at 8. And, you know, 15 isn't going to cut it. Not yet, anyway. If we can somehow drag this game out much longer, I'll be impressed. But I think that the dragons are really going to put a stop to that. I mean, Whomping Willow's in our hand, and we might, again, just get up to the... Or actually, we're at 9 already, right? Yep, we might just play the Whomping Willow for shiggles. Get Hedwig and then play the Willow. Again, we've talked about this. Whomping Willow and Fluffy are both cards that, like, If you could ever play this card, you're already winning. This is like such a crazy Widmore creature. But it does the thing. And it's a famous character from Harry Potter, you know. Chamber of Secrets rare, so obviously, you know, does work. I mean, yeah, to be able to play this card, you have to be very confident that your opponent can't do anything about any of your creatures, because walking yourself back those actions is pretty rough for just something that has to chill to even do damage. I think the dragons are fine. The Willow, I get it though. You know, you figure you're already ramping up this high. Might as well. Might as well. And then you can say, hey, you know, went undefeated in Swiss with Whomping Willow in my deck. You know, fill in a square on your bingo card. It's a toughie. I mean, Alberto's got a lot of options, just that none of them are particularly potent at this stage in the game when we're looking at 14 cards left in deck and the Welsh Green comes down and deals 6. I mean, Jiri's just waiting to win off of the Welsh Green enter. When he starts his turn, yeah, this is it. That's game. The Dragon's going to go ahead and punch for a bunch of damage, and then we're going to play Welsh Green Dragon, and we're moving into game 2. Game 3. Moving into game 2. Revival cards worth mentioning in this deck. Looks like just Holidays with Hags, which lets you use an action to discard it from play to put 2 lessons of the same type from your discard pile into play. This is kind of cute because I get that unlike a lesson, this lesson attached to a book is basically free, right? It gives you back the Draco thing. And then you can use an action on this book to play 2 potions from your discard pile. So in most decks, this is not, you know, this is negative. But in this deck, it's neutral for playing 2, and you're getting them out of the discard pile, so that's a positive. Overall, well, you know, it can be net positive in the deck. Here, we got lots of books, though, and this is one of the problems with decks that are attacking your books. You can't just replace 8 of your lessons with 8 books, even if you're item Draco, because you're going to need basic lessons. You need them. You need them. It is a requirement to even get to the point where you can play these books, and opponents can hate on items with more cards than they can hate on your lessons. Obviously, you know, at this point, we've got the power. We just can't do anything with it because our opponent's already got us no cards in deck. So we're definitely going to get a chance to sideboard here. I don't know what Alberto or Jiri have in their sideboards. For Jiri, I would expect if he's got, I think most of his adventure hate is in the sideboard, actually, because people really not giving each other any adventure troubles or doing much to control each other in this event. One of the reasons Jiri's deck is being so effective, just removing everything that his opponents are trying to do. I think he probably has most of his adventure hate in the sideboard. I don't know if he sides too many cards. I think that if I was about to call him Alucard, I guess that's fine, right? If Alucard or Alberto here is going to side anything in, I'd imagine that he's going to want to maybe get rid of some of the characters, since he knows that he's racing to build before Jiri, and maybe put in a couple more basic lessons if he has them. I also don't know if he has any kind of low curve threat for his opponent, but it might be difficult for him to build to those VTJs, so I'd maybe be trying to diversify my game plan there if possible with my sideboard. And now these guys are ready to go. Start game 2 any minute. I think we really need to be careful about giving Jiri cards early. It feels like almost a similar theme in this game and the last game. The opponent's doing something, you know, to no fault of their own. They're doing something where they thought it's going to slow them down. Usually this is a good thing to play early, like escaping the Dursleys in Mike's game and Colin Creevy in this game. But it turns out Colin Creevy, a lot of times, having Colin draw cards for your opponent isn't bad, because your opponent already has, like, the stuff they want to do, and they only get so many actions. So if you oversaturate their hand with plays, it's irrelevant if you keep giving them more plays, right? Because they're only able to do whatever they already have. It is relevant, however, if you're giving them better plays, or, you know, plays they didn't have. The fact that, Jiri's got 1 lesson in his hand, and we Colin Creevy basically put 3 more lessons into his hand, that accelerates Hermione's game plan so much. And I just don't think we want to be helping Hermione out like that. No, sir. Thank you, Jiri. I appreciate the hand reveal. It does make it easier to do commentary and tell what's going on. Okay, so this is looking pretty okay for Alberto. He definitely does not want to use Colin Creevy. Oh my god, they have mulligans! I forgot they have mulligans. No, why would you mulligan that hand away? Oh, that's okay. I mean, I get... This is the... mulligans, you're looking for a greener grass, man. And, oh, man, lucky that we drew into that second potion. Our first turn almost looked pretty scary. Now we actually have a good curve, though. We get to our 2 potions, so that next turn we can start doing item stuff. And Jiri's gonna go turn 1 Snape. I think that could have been a really good side for Alucard as well. I didn't see Snapes. I'm assuming he's gotta be playing Snapes. If he's playing characters and he's playing potions, there's no reason not to. It's a lesson and a heal rolled into one. But I think that I would have tried to fight Snape. Would have tried to fight Jiri for Snape. Jiri just drops 2 lessons. Passes. We got our care of magical drafts and potions. Magical drafts and potions comes down, and we get an action back. Honestly, at this point, I think you just pop this book and draw 3 cards, and then play another book. No, crack it first. Crack it first. Give yourself more options first, and then make the decision about your last action based on the most information possible. So what he's actually not gonna crack one. He's just gonna jam out all the books. That's fine. He's still got another book in hand so that he can get another go at it next turn. I mean, this was pretty good for him. He's at what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You figure he can accelerate to 7. If he gets away with 1 or 2 more turns like this, with Jiri being this slow to set up, he actually might be able to double VTJ in time. So I like this a lot, Alberto. Let's keep this going. Don't do this yet, though, because it'll blow you out. Don't do this yet, please. Please, please. So play magical drafts and potions to get the action back. Maybe just use the magical drafts and potions first. Yeah, there we go. Draw 3 cards. I like that. I like this play. I like this play. All right, excellent. So now we can... Ooh, through the arch. This is actually going to be pretty good against Jiri here. We really want to jam this out ASAP, but we don't have Seamus. So yeah, let's go ahead and play the drafts and play the lesson. I agree with that. Pass the turn. It's unfortunate that we had to sack one of our lessons, but it was worth getting this through the arch and actions there. Next turn, I think that it's got to be Self-Stirring Cauldron into Through the Arch, or we could play it safe and we could Holidays with Hags into Through the Arch. Self-Stirring Cauldron is +1 action for us, so we can actually do all three, right? We can Cauldron, Hags, Through the Arch, and pray that we get the double VTJ turn there. But we gotta go. If this picking on Neville comes down, we're in trouble. Picking on Neville. I guess we're not in trouble. Oh, we're gonna table trouble, right? For sure. Yeah, that's pretty gross. I just noticed that was all the way on the left side of his hand. Table trouble. Gonna go ahead and wipe 3 of those items off the field. This is why I'm really glad and said no self-stirring earlier. I'm glad we didn't do that. Yep, nothing we can do about that. Table trouble is gonna go ahead and just scoop all those off the table. And you're really wishing that we have that the Seamus earlier, so we could have gotten our Through the Arch down that last turn when we drew it, but unfortunately we had to wait a turn, and now we're going to be able to play it. But boy, we have a lot of work to do to get back up to VTJ levels. So I think Holidays with Hags first before anything, or you could Self-Stirring Cauldron into the potions lesson into Through the Arch. I don't hate Holidays with Hags into Through the Arch though. Yeah, there it is. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. So the nice thing about Through the Arch is, even though it can be removed by like Filch and Flying Car, etc., etc., Jiri doesn't have any of that stuff down. And also, I think, like I said earlier, I think most of his adventure hate is in the sideboard, so this is cool by Alberto to get this one down. Jiri's gonna have to skip 4 actions, and I think we're probably gonna watch him skip 2 of them here. Yep, it's a 2 action skip. Nothing wrong with that, because his entire deck is spell cards to win. So now we get perfect. So we want a Hair Care and Hannah immediately, because Hannah Abbott is going to be our path to the next Through the Arch, right? Because if he skips his next turn, if he skips 2 actions next turn, oh my goodness, easy peasy. Just, you know, get this back, play it again. We're square. So this turn I would Hair Care, Potion, Hannah, and then play potions. Potentially expecting to keep him under the lock, you could Self-Stirring Cauldron, Hannah, Potion. Or Self-Stirring Cauldron, Potion, and this potion. Do all of it. This was a great turn for Alberto. I really like the Through the Arch. So earlier I said that there was nothing that you can do against the ramp strategies. Okay, technically Through the Arch is working against the spells. Jiri would be fine if he was, you know, drawing into the creatures, but he's only playing really high-end creatures. He's got a handful of 4s, big spells, and no mana. And again, this is why it was really bad that we gave him all those extra cards last game, because if he doesn't ramp like that, if he doesn't have that nice early curve, he can get a little bit stuck with some of his plays because he doesn't have as many ways to generate card advantage himself, right? So we're getting plenty of extra action economy here. I like this. Perfect. Hair Care, Potion, Anna. Very nice, very nice. Oh, wait, yeah, that's fine. We still have an action. We still had an action. Oh, no, we played Grip Hook. My bad. Yep, so Jiri does that. He skips the turn. Easiest Hannah of your life. Hannah Abbott, you trade in a Cauldron and probably this regular potion here, because putting the extra potion in there is good for this too, right? You have to replay the Through the Arch. Wow, we're actually going to manually draw a card with an action because that's how much we don't want to get rid of the double Cauldrons in our hand. That's fair. I think you just get rid of 1 and 1. Get rid of 1 and 1. You have to do it. You must. Oh, wait, we can't even play Through the Arch anymore, can we? We can if we Self-Stirring Cauldron. We spend 1 action. If we play Self-Stirring Cauldron, we get 2 actions. 1 from Draco and 1 from the Cauldron. So if we play Cauldron right now, the turn is still safe. We Hannah Abbott I guess, 2 of these away, right? Because you can holidays them next turn, and then you can cauldron since you put 2 more lessons on the table. That was right. That was right. I liked that. No. Okay. I mean, hey, this is a tough one. He's got to think this one out for sure. Nothing easy about this turn. The Pirate Bay subscribed with Prime. Thank you, sir. I just noticed. I appreciate you, Clint. Thank you very much for your support, friend. Little Harry Potter trading card game. You know, got the pleasure of streaming a round that's in a ongoing tournament. Some of these players. Okay, and oh no. I mean, hey, he's only on 4 lessons. How much damage can he really do? We think to ourselves. A lot, because we self-stirring cauldron 2 of our things back to our hand. We've packed 4 of our lessons into one easy to remove cauldron. I am shocked. I think that we are a little bit hung up on Hannah getting our combo pieces, and we didn't realize how good this Through the Arch was for us. We want to Hannah and get that Through the Arch and windmill slam that thing into play, because Jiri is basically hashtag Jiri unleashed at this point. Look at this. He can use 1 action to jam 2 trans. Second action to, you know, he can Dobby for free. Dobby this thing. Actually, he can just, he probably wants to Scribble for his that. It's all the same. It's all the same. He's got 3 Scribble 4s in his hand. It's just going to be a pile of Scribbles after this. He's going to Picking on Neville and Dobby probably, and then jam the 2 lessons and pass. So Picking on Neville, he's going to pick the Cauldron. The opponent's going to get rid of 2 things that aren't the Cauldron, and this is what's so gross about having both Dobby's Disappearance and Picking on Neville, is this illusion of choice here. And this is something you don't see too much anymore now that Dobby's is restricted down to 1. But this is a really powerful play, using Picking on Neville to make Dobby better. So you're going to Picking on Neville this, right? He's thinking, oh man, I really need to save that. So he's going to get rid of 2 other things. Oh no. Grip hook and, yeah, see, this is, he definitely didn't target this. So he's sacking 2 things to save the Cauldron. And then Jiri's going to just put the Cauldron back in his hand with Dobby. Oh no, and the hair care potion, yep. Now here comes Dobby. Zoop! Send that Cauldron right back to your hand. Yeah, that's a classic. That's a classic move. If you've seen it once, you've seen it 100 times. If they have a second action and you know that all their deck does is like remove items and lessons and stuff like that, and he Picking on Neville's the Cauldron, I think you just sack the Cauldron. I mean, I don't know. I know, it's tough. It's tough. It doesn't seem obvious to, like, not try to protect the important piece with Neville, right? I think that's what's actually so cool about the Dobby-Neville combo. Or the, you know, Neville plus more removal combo, but Dobby-Neville is really one of the only ways you get it done at such a low lesson count. And now Jiri's right up here, you know, he's able to use that free action off the Dobby to build his lessons. He's back up where he wants to be at 7. He's got 3 Scribble 4s in his hand, which means that basically Alucard can do something right now. Alberto can do something right now, or he can never have any cards on this table ever again. It was 100% correct to use Hannah to get the thing, and please do it this turn. We need to play Through the Arch. If we don't play Through the Arch, the game's over. He's going to get rid of all the cards on our side of the table. And we might be tricking ourselves into, or like convincing ourselves we're safer than we really are, because he's only got those 3 cards in his hand. But boy, oh boy, that is going to be a potent 3 actions. I think it's really funny that they fixed the orientation of the sideways cards, and what they actually did was they just turned every card into landscape. So now all the cards that were face up and down are sideways. Scribblifores, yep, here it goes. Gonna get rid of Hannah and one of these things. Oh wow, we're actually just gonna hit 2 potions. On this next one, we're gonna hit a potion and a Hannah. Oh, it looks like he's changing his mind and hitting the Hannah instead as the potion comes back into play. Yeah. Maybe deciding that he wants to save the other Scribblifores and gonna use an action to draw a card. Boy, oh boy. But yeah, getting rid of the Hannah means getting rid of the Through the Arch, which means he's going to be able to play all these. Man, I just don't know why we didn't do it. We really valued the cards in our hand that much, and we're right? Like, these are combo pieces. Self-Stirring Cauldron is the only way to accelerate your mana back up and make up for lost time. But the thing is, you don't get to play any of those cards if he gets to cast spells and just get rid of all your lessons. And that's his only win condition, is basically... Well, not his only win condition, because he's got the big creatures. But his win condition is get rid of your stuff and play big dudes. And Through the Arch would have taken away 2 more turns from him. I think we really could have gotten somewhere with our board. But unfortunately, we have gotten to the point where Jiri is able to just walk back his entire turn from 1 card. And then use extra actions to draw into more plays off the top of his deck. The fact that we're running a hair care potion back out again here, I mean, I guess we're just doing it because it's free. We get the extra action. But we sacked it earlier to the picking on Neville, and now we're thinking about, like, oh man, I really want to replay that because we're going to have to replay my Hannah, and it's just... We're just so many turns behind where we want to be. Oh my god, we top decked the Lost Notes. Yeah, so this turn is literally just going to be Lost Notes and Scribblifores. We put him back to 1 potion. Because Jiri's kind of treading water until he gets to an 8th lesson so that he can play the Norwegian Ridgeback. Mm-hmm. Yep. Get rid of the hair care potions. Oh, we actually got rid of the lesson. He doesn't care about the characters. At this point, I guess the characters are a little bit moot because the peeves of the grip hook are certainly not gonna be winning us the game, and our opponent's probably not likely to Creevy. The hand is a little scary because, again, I think one of the worst things for us is Through the Arch, but at this point, I don't think Jiri cares about Through the Arch anymore. He's just looking for 1 more lesson so he can play the Ridgeback. Through the Arch's effectiveness is basically all the way back down to almost nothing now that he's used all his spells and wiped our entire board away. It's tricky. I think that this is something that players are going to have to think a little bit more about instead of just doing kind of their own strategy. They're certainly going to need to think more about when your opponent is attacking the core of your strategy, what is the most important part of it to preserve. Think about when your opponent is, you know, really restricting your game and not letting you do what you want to do. What are your outs, right? Some of our things that we want to consider are, okay, our opponent's not letting us get to 9 lessons, right? What can we do if we just don't ever get to build to 9? You know, what's our second game plan here? And that's where, I mean, little combo helps, like the Burrow Snuffling Potion, mixing in another color so that you can kind of remove their creatures and stuff, which buys you the time to build up or help you ramp up, like Wand Shop or the Wand items. Oh, forgive my yawn there, sorry. The Yawn Shop, more like. Even Quidditch, where some of those items could be doing damage over time for us, and they're basically, you know, not by, you know, digging into our setup because they give us that action back. Yep, but Jiri does in fact draw into the lesson, so he's able to play the lesson, play the Norwegian, and he gets the 2 lessons back into his hand, so next turn he can use 1 action to jam those back down, and hopefully he draws into another dragon, either of a Norwegian or Welsh green variety. And, you know, we're back to what looks like a week ago for Alberto here, where he was still just trying to build out some lessons to get things going. Thankfully, Jiri is out of removal spells. He's just got, you know, lessons in his hand. Unfortunately, he also has a dragon, and the dragon hurts. Dragon is dealing 8 damage. It is colossal. 7, sorry. 7 damage every turn. Still just so big. We've got 4 cauldrons in our hand. I mean, we are... See, look, we could have gotten rid of these cauldrons earlier. We drew into the rest of them anyway. Call and Creevy and use it. No! We have Hannah! We're giving our opponent 3 more cards. I really think that is scary. I don't like doing that. That is scary. Oh, no. See, look, Jiri wants that Hannah Abbott real bad. Now he's going to get to play Hannah Abbott before you? Please, no. Please play Hannah Abbott. It's tough. It's a tough one. But you gotta... The Hannah Abbott just gets you whatever your 2 best cards. You're so worried about holding on to these combo pieces, too, and she always finds 2 combo pieces for you. Especially with the hair care potions down, when it's only a 1-action investment in this character. We'll see. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. Looks like we are gonna just pass after that. It is Jiri's turn. Now he top decks a Scribble Force. Man, he would be top decking Forbidden Corridor this turn, but not bad at all. Yeah, the Scribble Force is gonna go ahead and just, you know, Colin Creevy is helping him. He's already built all the way up, right? So the only thing now that he's built up, there are 2 things that we can do to stop him from oppressing us, right? We can inhibit what he can use his actions on, or we can inhibit his options. So what he can use his actions on, I mean, I guess it's kind of the same thing, but what I mean is, you know, we want to play a thing that stops him from playing a certain type of card, like through the arch, or we want to get rid of lines that he has available to him, like, you know, keep his number of cards in hand low. Present threats constantly. That he always has to constantly use removal on them. But now he's building up a lot of advantage against us, and the dragon is just swinging away. And one nice thing about both of these players is they know that they're both in the top cut, because this is the later round in Swiss. So there's not as much pressure on here. I think that Alberto has a lot to take away from this game. I think that he's going to be a lot better about playing around these kinds of strategies after reviewing his play from these games, I think, as well. We had the right idea through the arch. I don't know if we had that in main deck or if we sided that in. It was certainly a good sideboard. It was certainly a good play against Jiri's strategy. I really, really liked it. I wish that we even had the Hannah out too. I really wish that we had gotten the Hannah to trade 2 cards in our hand and to play that down. Because then the only thing that we were missing from comboing out was, like, we needed 1 more potion lesson. But on the hunt for, like, oh, I just want to build a little more before I do the thing, well, we lost all our potions lessons, and we lost our items, and now we're in a spot where, yeah, we decide to sack our hair care potion at the beginning of the turn to the Forbidden Corridor. And that's tough too, because, again, you know, we really want to ride the back of these characters, and then we drew Seamus for turn, right? And this turn you would really like to see, like, Seamus, Hannah, discard 2 and do something else. But getting rid of the hair care potions, we get rid of, you know, the access to those efficient character lines. And I think that we want to preserve those, because it's much more likely that we're going to be able to use character abilities, much less likely we're going to be able to ever build back up to 9. But at this point, the Ridgeback is the problem, right? We need to do something about this dragon. Do we have Quarrel? I don't know. Maybe not. There aren't too many potions cards that deal with creatures. I guess it makes sense. You wouldn't really, you know, you're not trying to, like, get a creature or to drink a potion, right? Like, a creature would not use a potion. Maybe you would use a potion on a creature. Jiri is going to go ahead and sack one of his own Transfiguration lessons to the corridor. Another 7 damage is going to come in from the Norwegian Ridgeback, just popping off here. Jiri drawing card to hand, and it's Pomfrey. Not that he needs the healing prowess of Madame Pomfrey or Professor Snape, because he has just been crushing it on the deck count here, not needing to go too deep at all, and the games haven't been going to this like this deep end game where these healing cards thrive. And we did get to the Hannah Abbott before our opponent, so that means that we are safe. There will be no through the arch shenanigans. It also means that we could just trade 2 of these lessons in our hand for, you know, scribble of fours, and just shut our opponent's lessons down again. Next turn. So our opponent has a chance here. If he gets a book, he can actually use 1 VTJ. Oh no, he didn't get the book. We got hair care potions again. Oh, pretty troll. If we play Self-Stirring Cauldron, we go up to 3 actions. So okay, we went down to 1 action with potion. Now if we self-stirring, we go up to 2 actions, and we self-stirring again, and we go up to stay at 2 actions. But we still only have 8. We need the magic 9. Yeah. And like doing this without casting anything off of it is just giving him, we're scribble forcing ourselves. We're giving him a chance here to we're really just giving him a chance to use Hannah Abbott to get even better removal, to just, you know, hit this instead of getting rid of 2 lessons. It's like we got rid of 2 lessons and the Self-Stirring Cauldron. I mean, that's just, we need something to do. If we're gonna ramp up this turn knowing that he has an answer next turn, we have to do something at the top of the ramp. Instead, we're like the kid who gets his bike halfway up the ramp and then he just kind of rolls backwards down the ramp. They go off the top. Doesn't do any cool tricks, doesn't get any air, gets really close, doesn't quite make it. We got up to 8. We're up to 8 lessons and we still just can't do anything with it. I don't even know that we have any spells that cost 8 or less in the deck that aren't the hair care potion. I mean, it's not a spell, it's an item. So yeah, I think this is it, right? The VTJ or bust deck. Venomous Tentacular Juice is our win condition, and unfortunately, Jiri's deck's the kind of deck that's never going to let us get to a spot where we're able to afford Venomous Tentacular Juice. And we're going to need to afford 2 of them. Like, we're going to need to be able to play it and play 2. And with all the healing that he has, if we even got close to a point where it was actually going to get played, I think we would see him heal most of his deck and probably drop his hand size. So it might even be that we would need a way to make him draw and 2 or 3. And at that point, it's just, it's like such a thin line. It's going to be really hard to actually make that all happen. Again, the Ridgeback swinging his big, massive wings and just blowing all the cards off the field. Alberto's got 10 cards left in his deck, and once this turn starts, it's going to be Ridgeback for 7 of them. And I mean, you know, Hannah Abbott is going to get Scribble of Fours and something else. We're going to Scribble of Fours both of these. We're going to get rid of Colin Creevy, and Colin Creevy can't activate anymore because the dragon's already going to deal 7 damage. I think this might be it. I think this is going to be the end. We'll see. We'll let these guys play it out. Sleepy Raindog, hello, welcome. What's up, Snugsy? On a scale of 1 to 10, how good is this game? 10 being a perfect game that doesn't exist yet. Well, the game exists. It existed a long time ago. This is a Harry Potter trading card game made by Wizards of the Coast in 2001, 2002-ish. I really enjoyed this game. I think it's a really solid card game. I wouldn't give it a 10, and I certainly wouldn't call it anything like perfect, but I like the characters, I like the IP, I think it's a fun game. It's a lot like Pokemon, where players take turns one at a time and you don't do anything to like interact or stuff on your opponent's turn. So obviously I really like that aspect of Final Fantasy. I really like how complex it is. Harry Potter is a little bit simpler, but it still has some cool combos. There's still a lot of room for exploration in a game that only has 5 sets. I mean, now that has a 6th fan-made set, but that's been out for almost 20 years, and we're still coming up with new things in tournaments when people are playing. I think that's pretty cool. Right now we're doing a revival tournament, which means that these players are able to use cards from the first fan set Heir of Slytherin. if you're interested. We play just like how we do the weeklies for Final Fantasy. I try to do some weeklies for Harry Potter. Obviously, it's much more niche and a much smaller audience and game, but we do that stuff on Tuesdays. This is the final round of Swiss in a schedule your own matches league style tournament that is being run by the Revival group through their Discord. And I'm just here to stream one of the games from the players. Both of these players are 4-0 going into round 5, I believe. Yep, so we're going to use our Hannah Abbott here. We're going to go ahead and find ourselves. So Hannah's ability, trade 2 cards from hand for 2 cards to the discard pile. We're going to go ahead and get cards. Interested in getting a couple of decks to play with my kid. Starter decks, I think, are still relatively normal priced. But the collector craze has hit this dead Wizards of the Coast trading card game like it has everything. Thankfully, the Revival team is creating high-def scans of the old sets. So you'll see here, these are high-def scans of base set cards. And they have instructions so you could print them to play at home. You know, if you wanted to actually get them made by, like, Make Playing Cards. They have high-res scans so you can get some nice cards. Play with the Harry Potter base set if you want, and the Revival set as well. They're working on high-res scans of the other sets. It looks like we are going to go ahead and trade 2 potions for Scribblefours and for Teacup to Rat. We're going to Teacup to Rat the Self-Stirring Cauldron because we want to draw another card off of it as well. Scribblefours is going to choose Self-Stirring Cauldron and probably the... I don't know what. You don't even care about the Grip Hook. You'd rather he do that to you. Probably the Hair Care. Self-Stirring Cauldron and Creevy. I'm not sure. I think it doesn't matter. I think as soon as we played these cards, the opponent probably said, good game. GG. 3 cards left in deck. And we certainly don't have what we need in hand to combo out. So I think this was a tough matchup for Alberto. He almost had the ramp in this game. I think he could have built up to a VTJ. I think we could have done it in this game. I think that if we had gotten that second through the arch and also used Hannah to get another thing to kind of help us keep ramping, that we were maybe 2 turns. Actually, if we had... Do we have an early Venomous in here? We had a pretty early... I don't know if this was in there already or not. I say we had a pretty early Venomous discard. If we could have handed for a Venomous and the Through the Arch, played the Through the Arch, locked him out for 2 more turns, we might have been able to get to a double VTJ turn and just win that one. And we'd be seeing a game 3. But I think instead that this is going to be a GG. Yep, the GG's coming out in chat. Alberto and Jiri, very well played. Congratulations to Jiri for, I believe, going undefeated in Swiss in the event and securing top seed for Top Cut. And that is going to be our 1 little hour of Harry Potter trading card game for you guys tonight. If you are interested in the Revival, join the Revival at HarryPotterTCG.com. You can join the Discord. You can ask all kinds of questions about the set scans. You can get the base set and the new Revival set scans so you can print cards to play at home. And you can ask the community, get all kinds of information about the old game. But until next time, guys, that's it for us. I believe that there were 2 other community members who were streaming. So if you're watching the Dark Mark and you're interested, you could check out VODs on Simming Slytherin, I believe. And also, what was the other one? Ken the Human on Twitch. They have their round 5 as well. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.